It's 10 p.m. You're lying in bed, scrolling through social media, feeling more and more disconnected from yourself. You see perfect lives, flawless bodies, happy families. You tell yourself, they have it all together. Why can't I? But you don't realize it yet. This simple act of scrolling is quietly shaping your mental health. In fact, it's one of the most common habits psychologists warn about, yet most of us don't even recognize the damage it's causing. This habit, the one you do almost without thinking, is chronic self-comparison. You've probably heard it 1,000 times. Don't compare yourself to others. But that advice has never truly hit home, has it? Because deep down we all fall into the trap. It's ingrained in us, almost automatic. We compare our lives to the filtered versions we see online, to the perfectly curated moments of other people. We compare our success to theirs, our relationships to theirs, and our happiness to theirs. But in reality, we're only seeing the highlights, the edited, idealized versions. We're not seeing the struggles behind those smiles. And yet, we judge ourselves as if we should be living up to these unreal standards. But here's the truth. This constant comparison is not just draining, it's damaging your mental health. Now, think about it. How often do you find yourself doubting your progress because someone else's journey looks more successful, or their life appears more joyful, more fulfilled? Every time you look at someone else's life and feel less than, your brain releases a rush of cortisol, the stress hormone. And cortisol over time can lead to anxiety, depression, and burnout. But the worst part, you probably don't even recognize this pattern. It sneaks in so quietly that, before you know it, it's affecting your entire outlook on life. But here's why you need to stay with me until the end. Once you understand this pattern and how to break free from it, you'll reclaim control over your mental peace. You'll be empowered to stop the comparison trap, embrace your own path, and start healing from the inside out. In this video, we're going to explore the hidden habit of chronic self-comparison, why it's so harmful, and how you can break free from it. You'll discover the psychology behind it, and more importantly, the practical steps you can take to heal and protect your mental health from this insidious habit. Revealing the habit. And it all starts in the smallest, most familiar moments, often without us even realizing it. You wake up, reach for your phone, and within seconds you're looking at someone's highlight reel. Tropical vacation, new house, flawless selfie. And even before you've gotten out of bed, you already feel behind. It doesn't feel like you're comparing, right? Just feels like scrolling. Just catching up. But slowly your brain is making mental notes. She's younger than me and already owns a business. He's already married with 2 kids, and I'm still alone. They're doing better. I'm falling behind. This is chronic self-comparison, and psychologists say it's one of the most mentally corrosive habits of our time, especially because it doesn't scream when it enters your life. It whispers. And that's what makes it dangerous. We don't just compare success or beauty. We compare how loved we feel, how secure we are, how happy we appear. We even compare pain, thinking someone else's suffering is more valid than ours, so we suppress our emotions and pretend we're fine. But comparison is never neutral. It either inflates or diminishes. Either way, it disconnects us from truth and inner peace. And often, the most damaging comparisons are the ones we make with ourselves. A past version of us, or worse, an imagined ideal version we feel we should be. You think to yourself, I should be further along by now. I used to be more motivated. I'm not who I thought I'd become. And quietly, this comparison becomes self-judgment. That judgment becomes shame. And shame. Shame is the breeding ground for anxiety, depression, and self-loathing. Real-life example. Stigma. She's 29, talented, smart, kind. But every day she checks LinkedIn and sees her peers getting promoted, launching startups, receiving awards. Meanwhile, she's trying to recover from burnout and barely holding her job together. And though no one's saying it out loud, she feels like a failure. She starts believing that she's lazy, not good enough, behind in life. What she doesn't know is that most of those people are also struggling, just not publicly. But that doesn't matter. Her nervous system is responding to what she sees, not what's real. That's what comparison does. It blinds us from the truth of our own story. The trap of subtle comparison. And here's the tricky part. Comparison doesn't only happen when we're consciously looking at others. It's in conversations. Oh, she just bought a house. He's on his 3rd international trip this year. It's in silent observations. Their relationship seems so perfect. They're always smiling. I wish I could feel like that. And sometimes it's internal. Why am I not as confident as I used to be? We internalize others' victories as reminders of our shortcomings. We shrink ourselves without realizing it. We judge our progress through someone else's timeline. And the worst part, we do this over and over, daily, even hourly, until it becomes a mindset. But the truth is, comparison is a lie. It lies to you about where you should be, who you should be, and how valuable you really are. Stay with me. In the next part of this video, we're going to break down what happens inside your brain when you compare yourself to others. We'll look at the psychology behind this destructive habit, and how it creates a cycle that can quietly spiral into anxiety, insecurity, and even depression. But more importantly, we'll talk about how to stop it, how to escape the trap and start seeing yourself through a healthier, more truthful lens. So stay with me, because by the end, you won't just understand the habit, you'll know how to heal from it. The psychological explanation. To understand why comparison is so emotionally exhausting, we need to step into the mind for a moment, into the incredible and complex design of the human brain. At its core, your brain is a survival machine. It's constantly scanning your environment for threats, physical, social, emotional. Thousands of years ago, being excluded from the tribe could mean death. So our brains evolved to measure ourselves against others as a way of protecting our place in the group. But in today's world, this survival instinct has gone digital. Now, instead of comparing ourselves to 10 or 20 people in our village, we compare ourselves to hundreds, even thousands every day, online, at work, in conversations, in our own mind. And the brain doesn't know the difference between real danger and imagined inadequacy. It responds with stress hormones like cortisol and adrenaline every time we feel like we're not enough. How it affects your mental health. When you compare yourself to others constantly, your brain is in a low-grade fight or flight mode almost all the time. Here's what happens. Cortisol levels rise, which increases anxiety and makes it harder to concentrate. Dopamine crashes after brief highs, so you feel emotionally unstable and drained. Your self-esteem begins to erode as you unconsciously tell yourself, I'm not doing enough. I'm not good enough. I'm falling behind. Over time, this leads to chronic stress, rumination, sadness, irritability, and a growing feeling of failure, even if nothing is actually wrong in your life. It's a mental spiral that can feel almost impossible to escape from, unless you become aware of it. The dangerous illusion of upward comparison. Psychologists call this habit upward comparison, when we compare ourselves to those we perceive as doing better than us. The danger is that we're almost always comparing our raw, unedited reality to someone else's highlight reel. It's not fair. It's not honest. But it still affects us. You see someone celebrating a success, but you didn't see their failures or sleepless nights. You hear a friend say they're in love, but you didn't witness their heartbreaks and loneliness before this moment. You see someone smiling, but you don't know the pain behind their eyes. Yet your brain tells you, they're happy. You're not. They're winning. You're losing. It creates a false narrative, and the brain begins to believe it. And when the brain believes a lie often enough, it rewires your beliefs. And those beliefs shape your emotions, behaviors, and self-worth. Why it feels so personal. Here's the cruel twist. Comparison doesn't just tell you they're better. It tells you you're failing. This triggers something called negative self-schemas. Deep, unconscious beliefs about who we are. Beliefs like, I'll never be enough. I'm always behind. I'm invisible. I'm broken. And the more we compare, the more these beliefs are reinforced. We stop living in our truth, and start living in someone else's version of success. We forget how far we've come, how unique our journey is. We stop showing ourselves compassion. And without self-compassion, healing becomes incredibly difficult. But there's hope. Here's the good news. The brain is incredibly changeable. This mental habit, as ingrained as it may be, can be reversed. The stress cycle can be broken. You can train your mind to respond with awareness rather than judgment. And over time, shift from self-comparison to self-compassion. And in the next part of this video, we're going to dive into exactly how to do that. We'll walk through 5 science-backed strategies that will help you stop the comparison cycle, reclaim your peace, and rebuild your mental strength. So please don't go yet. If any of this has felt like your story, the tools that come next could change everything. 5 ways to break free from chronic self-comparison. If you've ever found yourself feeling small after scrolling through social media, if you've ever heard the whisper in your mind saying, "You're not doing enough," if you've ever felt invisible in a world that seems to celebrate everyone but you, you're not alone. And you're not broken. You've simply been trapped in a habit that was never meant to guide your worth. Now let's break that habit step by gentle step. 1. Practice intentional awareness. The first step is to notice when it's happening. Most people don't even realize they're comparing themselves. They just feel anxious or discouraged without knowing why. So the next time you feel suddenly inadequate, pause and ask, who or what did I just compare myself to? What did I just tell myself about my worth? Awareness interrupts the pattern. It gives your brain space to choose a different response. 2. Create a reality check ritual. Comparison is often based on illusion, on images and assumptions. Combat this by reminding yourself of the full picture. If you catch yourself thinking, "They're doing better than me," ask, "What am I not seeing? What might they be struggling with behind the scenes? Have I acknowledged my own growth lately?" Even writing down 3 things you've overcome in the last year can powerfully reframe your mindset. 3. Limit digital triggers. Social media is a comparison trap disguised as connection. This doesn't mean you have to quit cold turkey, but it does mean being mindful of what content fuels your peace, and what content quietly steals it. Unfollow accounts that trigger insecurity. Follow those that uplift your soul. Set time boundaries. Use apps that help you track your usage. And every now and then take a detox day, not as punishment but as a gift to your mental health. 4. Replace comparison with compassion. Each time you feel the sting of inadequacy, pause. Instead of turning that judgment inward, respond with kindness. Tell yourself, "I am allowed to be where I am. My journey doesn't have to look like theirs to be meaningful. I'm doing the best I can, and that matters." Even just placing your hand over your heart and breathing deeply while repeating these truths can calm your nervous system and change your emotional response. Self-compassion is not weakness. It is strength in soft form. And your mind is desperate for it. 5. Celebrate micro wins. Every single day. The world celebrates big milestones. But healing comes from small victories. Getting out of bed on a hard day. That counts. Choosing not to engage in a toxic thought. That counts. Being kind to yourself after a mistake. That counts. Start a journal of micro wins. Every night, write down one moment you're proud of, even if no one else saw it. Over time, this builds internal validation. It shifts your focus from what you lack to what you carry. Because you do carry something beautiful, your strength, your story, your soul. And it deserves to be honored. Why this matters. You are not behind. You are not failing. You are simply becoming, at your own pace, in your own way, in your own time. Comparison tells you that your worth depends on what others are doing. But the truth, your worth has never been up for comparison. It's yours, unshakable. God breathe. Stay with me. In the final part of this video, we'll leave you with powerful affirmations and truths to anchor your mind when comparison tries to sneak in again. Words you can return to whenever you need peace, perspective, and healing. You've come this far. And if you stay till the end, your heart may walk away lighter than it's felt in a long time. Now that you understand the weight you've been carrying, it's time to gently release it. Take a deep breath. Let it out slowly. Now, for just these few moments, I want you to turn your attention inward, Not toward what others are doing, but toward the quiet strength within you. Because comparison may have spoken loudly in your life. But it doesn't get the final word. Your truth does. Your healing does. Your wholeness does. So let's seal everything we've talked about today with words your soul needs to hear. Words to soothe, remind, and renew. Affirmations to anchor you. Repeat them out loud if you can. Or let them settle gently in your heart. I am enough just as I am, even as I grow. My journey is sacred. It doesn't need to match anyone else's. I release the need to measure my worth by someone else's story. I am allowed to take up space and move at my own pace. God did not make me to be a copy. I am His unique, intentional design. I choose compassion over comparison. I am learning to love who I am becoming. What I see in others is a reflection of what's possible for me too. Not a threat. I am not behind. I'm being prepared. My worth is not based on performance. It's rooted in presence, in purpose, in grace. Let those truths rest in you for a moment. One last thing before you go. If comparison has been weighing on you lately, if it's stolen your joy, shaken your peace, or dimmed your light, please know this, you're not alone. And you're not too far gone to reclaim what's yours. Every time you choose gentleness over judgment, every time you pause to breathe instead of spiral, you're rewiring your mind. You're healing. You may not see it yet, but small shifts lead to big freedom. And the fact that you stayed with me this far, that tells me something powerful about you. You're ready. Ready to break free from what hurts. Ready to honor your journey. Ready to start living from the inside out. And I'm cheering you on every step of the way. Thank you for spending these moments with me. If this video resonated with you, share it with someone else who might need this message too. And if you want more wisdom like this, gentle, healing, soul-nourishing, consider subscribing. This space is for you. Until next time, remember, you are already enough. And your becoming is beautiful.